everybody, today's tutorial is going to be about modifying our existing template file, which is like a startup file, so that the border, instead of being in model space, the border is going to be in a layout tab. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up our existing template file with file open, the keyword there being open. I'm going to come up to the quick access toolbar here and pick the open folder. And what that is going to do is brings us to a place where we can browse. And then I'm going to come down here where it says files of type, and I'm going to actually look for the drawing template files. So I'm going to pick DWT file extension. And when I do that, it brings me automatically to the template folder, and I can look in here to where we saved our startup file the last time. And here it is, 1 decimal inch template. So I'm going to pick on that, and I'm going to pick open. Now if you didn't save your drawing, your startup drawing as a template file, a .dwt, you can also just open up your drawing file, your .dwg, if that's a file that you use for startup, and you can still follow along with me and get the border into a layout tab. Okay, so here we are in the template file where I left off in a previous tutorial on creating a template file, and the border is in model space. So if you look over here, you'll notice the model tab is highlighted. Alright, now what we want to do is I want to take this border out of model space and put it into a layout tab. That is going to give us a lot of advantages because in the layout tabs we're able to create viewports, which allow us to scale the drawing but keep the border the same size. Alright, so okay, let's get started with that. So the first thing I want to do is actually copy this border to the clipboard. So we're going to do a copy clip. So I'm going to come up to this clipboard up here on the ribbon, okay, and this little icon right here with the 2 papers is copy clip, so I'm going to pick on that, and I'm going to select this border that's in model space, and I'm going to right click. Okay, that's now copied it to the clipboard. Alright, now I'm going to come over to the Layout 1 tab, and you're going to notice the Page Setup Manager comes up, and that's okay. We're just going to close that for now. And here we are in the Layout 1 tab. And this dark line here that I hover over, this is actually called a viewport. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to erase this viewport because I'm going to draw one in later on. So I'm going to go up to erase, I'm going to pick on the viewport, and I'm going to pick enter. Okay, and now what that does is it erases the viewport, which is essentially like a hole in this piece of paper. And that's what this white area represents, is a piece of paper that's 8.5 by 11. Okay, so I'm going to come up to the ribbon again, and I'm going to come up to paste, and I'm just going to do a regular paste here, and you'll notice that the border is trying to come in here, and we're just going to have to try to line this up with the edge of the paper. There's no O-snaps here because it's the edge of the paper, so we're just going to have to line that up as best we can. Okay, so I lined up the outermost line of the border with the outer edges of the piece of paper. Okay, all right, so the next step that we have to do is we have to create a viewport because I just erased our viewport that automatically came in. So I'm going to look up here to see if I have a viewport layer, and I do not. I do like to have a separate layer for viewport, so I'm going to go into the Layer Manager, and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it Viewport for short, and I'm going to make that layer magenta, and I'm going to leave it a continuous line, and I'm going to make the line weight very thin. I'm going to make it a 006. Okay, alright, I'm going to put the green check to make the layer current, and I'm going to close the Layer Manager. Now you can see up here that that viewport layer is the current layer. Okay, Now, to make a viewport, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can actually type in mview on the command line. That will start making a viewport. I'm going to escape and I'm going to show you another way. You can actually go up to the view pull down and go to viewports and pick one viewport. Okay. All right, so now that we've picked on that command, it asks us to specify the corner of the viewport. So all we have to do is pick the two inside corners of the title block, okay? And what that has done, has cut a hole sort of in the paper, and we are now looking through the viewport, and we can see what's in model space. And of course, what's in model space is our old border, okay? So let's go back to model on the model tab here, and we can now erase this border because we don't need it anymore. So I'm going to go up to erase and erase the border, okay? Now I'm going to go back to my Layout 1 tab, and you'll see here that that border that was inside of the viewport is now gone, okay? All right, so now that we have this border here and we have our viewport, we have two different worlds that we're going to be kind of dealing with, and I'll be able to show you better examples once we actually start using drawings. But anyway, the inside of the viewport is where model space is, and if I double click inside the viewport, you'll notice that the line gets very heavy and thick, and down here on the status bar it says model. If I double click outside of the viewport, you'll notice that the line gets thin, and down here on the status bar it says we're in paper. Okay, so when we're in paper space, if we zoom and pan, you notice that the whole piece of paper will move. And when we're in model space, we're actually, if we were to zoom or pan, then the model, just the model would move. Okay? All right, so now that we've got the title block in our layout tab, you can edit the title block. We might as well, while we're in our template file, to put your name in, because this will be for your drawings. Okay, and I'm going to leave the other two fields the way they are because those will be edited with each new drawing that we do. All right, so let's go back to model space. I'm going to do a zoom all, which is up here on the toolbar, or you can also do Z enter A enter for zoom all. And because this is my template startup file, I don't want viewport to be my current layer, so I'm going to change my current layer back to object. Okay, so I'm going to do a regular save here because I am in the template file, and I'm going to go up to the big application menu and pick close. Okay, I don't want to start a drawing in this file right now because this is my startup file. I just want to keep it safe, so I'm going to do file close after I've saved it, and there you have it. Okay, so that is how you put a border into a layout tab and create a viewport. All right, I hope that helps, and please stay tuned for the next tutorial.